Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here today for what will be episode 6 of Banghead Financial. I'm, of course, Greg Guy, joined here in studio by Mr. Casey. Quick market recap. The U.S. markets are basically trading sideways, maybe just up just a tiny hair. Not a whole lot going on. The overall crypto market cap is, at the time of this recording, at $2.25 trillion, which is down slightly. Obviously, not really a whole lot going on there. I'm still waiting to hear what happened with, last week's, Bitcoin fiasco. So, as soon as we, come to terms with whatever happened, we will be sure to inform you. Main news this week, EverGrande, the Chinese real estate company, has gone into default on their US dollar debt, and I tried to do some research to find out exactly what that means, since they're just calling it their US dollar debt, not their Chinese debt, not their euro debt. So it's very confusing.
So I have a question. So does you might not know the answer. So
I probably don't, because I have not been able to find out a lot of information on this. But go ahead and ask me.
So not only are the Chinese holding a lot of our debt,
yes,
are we holding the debt for certain Chinese companies or segments?
Yes, I do know that certain companies are buying up some Chinese debt for, I believe, the reason that they believe that the governments will bail out. The Chinese government will wind up bailing out these companies. However, I do not expect them to bail them out for any type of U.S. dollar debt.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong, but on top of that, the CEO of EverGrande did sell off personal assets, and I've heard conflicting numbers, but let's take a conservative estimate of about $100 million in his personal assets to pay off the company's debts, which, in the grand scheme of things, with over $300 billion in debt,
it's nothing.
It's nothing. Basically.
He's lucky he's still alive and not disappeared, to be honest with you.
Yeah. My next question that, I was going to propose this to you, but we kind of already touched on it, is will the Chinese government wind up bailing out EverGrande?
I don't know if it's too big for them to allow it to fail. Personally, in my opinion, no company should be bailed out by a government. But 100%. The Chinese government is a communist country, so their businesses are technically part of their government.
Okay. Well, on top of that, I also, while doing research, found out that EverGrande is actually incorporated in the Cayman Islands. Okay. So I don't know if they are technically a Chinese company. They do a lot of business in China.
Right.
But if they are incorporated in, obviously, a tax haven of Cayman Islands, are they technically a Chinese company? Just because that's where they conduct a majority of their business.
That definitely strange things. That definitely complicates things a little bit. But personally, if EverGrande wasn't a Chinese company, would they really allow them to thrive in their country? Or if the Chinese government didn't have some kind of control over it?
Most of the executives and everything, are Chinese citizens. I don't know what the proper term is.
And if you reach those upper levels of business, I'm almost guaranteeing that you are a part of the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, I can see that. So, we did touch on the EverGrande stuff, a while back. I said it was going to be an ongoing, developing story, and, that's an update of where we're at on that at this day. Moving on to our next story. Inflation. The inflation numbers came out for November.
We're at 10.
Over the past 12 months, November to November, 6.8%, up 0.0 or 0.6% from October, where we were at 6.2, which back then was the highest in 31 years. Now we're at the highest since 1982.
I can see that I read something.
I believe month after month we're going to see that continue to increase.
I read something that this is the highest inflation that we've had in over 40 years.
Yes, since 1982.
Right.
40 years. It's crazy, right? My question is, okay, and this could be a terrible thing on top of this for stock market and everything. If that number breaches 7%, people are going to panic. Because that is...
People are already panicking.
Well, people are going to massively panic.
Right.
Because basically throughout the course of a 12-month period, it is rare for the stock market to grow by 7%.
Right.
So the stock market at that point in time becomes a deflationary market.
Right.
That is a terrifying thought for a lot of especially large investors.
I think we need new leadership because what we're doing isn't right. We should have never done the lockdowns and the mandates. It's done more harm than it possibly could have. From what we know of now, it was a huge mistake to do the lockdowns.
Yeah, I agree. Just one final thought on this is: where do you think that this will end? Yeah, I know that's kind of like a complicated thing to put together.
It's a loaded question because
could you possibly see at some point in time within the next 6 months that number going from 6.8% to above 10% over the course of a 12-month period?
It could. It definitely could. And if that happens, then there's going to be a lot of people that are very desperate because people are never going to retire. People are never going to, they might not be able to afford their homes. They might not be able to feed themselves.
Yeah, $55 for a 16-pound turkey day after Thanksgiving.
You can also think in more of like in certain terms that people have become way too comfortable in the way they live, and easy lives create weak people. And I really do think that's there's a lot of unmotivated people that just feel like they deserve things and they don't work for the things that they have. And if we can't feed ourselves, we're not going to be able to feed the people that aren't holding up their end of the bargain.
So you basically think people are lazy nowadays?
Oh, that's a fact. It's 100% a fact.
Got it.
But there's also the part where why if you're going to be provided everything you need, why would you work for it?
Well, we've touched on universal basic income and everything like this before,
right. But what universal basic income is just printing money for because you have to do something.
Well, no. It's at some point in time it's going to have to come out of a tax base, which
right.
means they'll have to cut programs and everything.
Right.
They're not. There's no way that they can just print universal basic income for everyone in the country.
Money doesn't come from everything. Nothing. You have to provide a service or an item for that money. If you are not providing, you are a drain on the system. In all actuality, you are inflation.
There you go. You heard it here first. Casey says you are inflation.
If you're not doing it, if you're not creating or providing, you are basically inflation.
Fair enough.
You are money for nothing.
Fair enough. All right, our last topic of the day. The SEC versus XRP Ripple Labs lawsuit has taken another insane turn for basically extending the entire process of Ripple Labs. More or less, probably going to just wind up paying a small fine, slap on the wrist. Nothing's going to happen. But the SEC is claiming this deliberative process privilege, as far as, from what I understand, is they are refusing to hand over evidence in discovery to the XRP lawyers about the holdings of SEC employees of XRP, which to me just seems pretty shady. But you have any opinions on that?
Sounds par for the course. Par for the course for governmental corruption.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. Another piece of information that I discovered while I was researching this. The XRP token was released in 2013, and the SEC filed the lawsuit in December of 2020. So I don't know if statute of limitations really applies to like a financial case or not, or just like a criminal case. But I thought it was interesting that it was right at 7 years.
Right.
And on top of that, as of December 2020, XRP was trading at 21 cents. As soon as the lawsuit was announced, it tanked to 16 cents. And as of this recording, right now, it's right about 85 cents per token. So, if they are holding XRP tokens, I'm talking about the SEC employees and everything. They 5-6x their money. And if they keep, dragging the process out, as soon as this lawsuit gets resolved and XRP is, re-released onto U.S. exchanges and everything and whatnot, that 80 some cents is more than likely probably going, fourfold, easy. So how much, I don't know, like you said, government, it seems like, a corruption deal.
Should we invest in government corruption?
Well, depends on whether you want to make money.
You remember? Oh, this is a thing that happened not too long ago. People were following Nancy Pelosi and her business dealings, and people were actually making a lot of money by following her money and investing in the same things as Nancy Pelosi. Now, I can't remember if it was Reddit or Twitter, but just recently, within the last week, those groups that were following these things have been taken off the internet.
Shocker.
Yeah, shocker. But so people they see Nancy Pelosi, they understand government corruption bare bones, and literally and metaphorically, and they were following what she did and did the same thing with her money, their money, what she was doing with hers, and they were making a lot of money. So following corrupt government officials is definitely a business decision.
Apparently a profitable one from what you're telling me.
Right.
Wow. I mean, I heard something about it, but I didn't know that they took that Reddit group down.
It was just within the week. It's been running for months and months. But it's weird. This has nothing to do with finances. But it was the same exact time they took down the group that was following the Maxwell case, the Ghislaine Maxwell case.
Epstein's.
Right. So both of those groups were taken down at exactly the same time. Now they're not basically related, but it just seems like since the new leadership has taken over, especially on Twitter, they're starting to crack down on things that they don't want you to see.
Yep, fair enough. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here for episode 6 of Banghead Financial. I'm, of course, Gregor Guy, joined here by Mr. Casey. And you all out there viewing, have a lovely day.